Hi everybody, Andrew here, also known as DRU. Hope that you are all doing well. I want to do a quick tutorial on building Flutter Synths in Serum. Flutter Synths, or a wobble synth, is a synth that has that stuttering effect, kind of like a tremolo. They sound great on chords. Hear them in the music like from Flume or Louis the Child. Here we go. First of all, I'm going to play you a chord progression that I wrote that is in the key of D minor. I have a variation that gives it a cool little like turnaround referencing D major at the end, the parallel major. Let's hear this chord progression. All right, so that's just Logic's built-in keyboard, so it doesn't sound that great. This is going to sound a little bit crazy at first because I'm starting on an initial preset, or I am once I do this. All right, so here's our init preset, or the initial sound. It's not going to sound very good, so be warned, but this is what we're starting with. Alright, I'm going to find a slightly more interesting wavetable to start with. Let's use something from Cymatics. Cool. Let's add a second oscillator. Alright. What should I do? Alright, cool. So the main idea with these Flutter Synths is we're going to use the LFO to basically automate our oscillator levels, which is really simple. So the LFO, the way it works in Serum is if you click this and drag it to any parameter, this waveform and the various parameters we're going to set are going to change whatever parameter we put it on. Alright, so I'm going to drag it to these levels of the three oscillators I'm using. Then I'm going to turn them down, and then clicking up at the blue symbol, I'm going to make them do that, which essentially is going to make them go from 0 when this is down to maximum with this when this is up. It's at a quarter note right now. I'm at 145 BPM. So this is already going to do the wobble sound. Let's hear it. Let's smooth that out a little bit. Add our dimension expander. Now I'm going to use a second LFO to do basically a longer modulation. This is going to give the patch some cool development. I'm going to tie this to some of the wet position knobs. Let's hear this. So the fun really begins with a synth like this. After we've done setting up our various modulations, this was obviously a really simple example. You could try tying these LFOs to a bunch of other parameters. You can tie them to some effects. I basically have our longer LFO controlling some of the reverb mix, and then I have shorter LFO controlling hyperdimension mix and the hyper mix, and then the smooth LFO on the dimension mix. Let's hear this. I'm going to take it off BPM, and I'm going to move the knob. Cool. I'm going to bring in some drums just so we can hear that in action. Let's see. Might as well keep it on. I'll just use a generic future bass drum loop. If my drive doesn't seize up here, let's go with. So now, Logic users, I'm going to put this synth on touch. You can do that on pretty much all the other DAWs as well. If you haven't used that function before, this is what we do to basically record live automation. It's really fun using this rate knob to kind of improvise some different rhythms. I like to go in and edit my automation lines after this, but let's try this. Nice. My Logic MIDI timed out. My computer's still getting used to this streaming thing. If I put it back to read, it's going to stop recording what I'm doing, and then I can click this menu here to see the LFO pattern that I used. I'm going to add. If you wanted to change anything, you could obviously go in here and alter our automation. All right, then I'm going to use the marquee tool to grab my automation so that I can copy it over. This is great. No matter how crazy a riff or a rhythm is, the trick to make it feel less crazy or to make it feel more memorable is to repeat it. So this now makes this a full 16 bar flutter bass groove. Hope you like it. Cool. I hope that gets your ideas flowing, and hopefully if you didn't understand Serum's LFO and making Flutter sounds, now you do. Thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed that.